Hi guys, this is Fernando from Brothers In Granite. I'm one of the owners here at Brothers. Some of you already know me for a long time, so nice to see you guys again. It's such an honor to be here in this workshop, so thank you for letting us in. We're sorry we're not there in person this time, but they gave us this opportunity to present our company and also talk about a little bit how is the shipping situation here in Brazil to the US. So we are all suffering from these shipping problems all over the world. So I want to share with you guys how we are dealing with this. So first of all, I just wanted to present what Brothers In Granite is. Some of you that know us for a long time maybe don't know what we are doing here in Brazil now. We have our own factory and everything, so we cut our own blocks and we polish and resin them in our own place. So today I'm going to show you a little bit what we're doing here in Brazil now. And at the end of this video, I want you guys just to be patient a little bit. Not going to be a long video, I promise you guys. So by the end, I want to just share how we are dealing with the shipping problems. So I'm pretty sure we can be very helpful for all of you. Okay, so hang on there and I'll be back. Thank you guys. Guys, so now I'm going to present real quickly who we are and what we do here in Brazil. So like I said, we are a factory here. And we buy from many different quarries in Brazil. There are thousands of quarries open and running here in Brazil. And we select the materials that we want to buy from, and we make partnership with those quarries to buy our blocks. So those pictures you're going to see here are pictures from our own blocks that we bought and a few quarries that we buy from. We do have exclusivity with a few quarries. We don't own quarry, but we have exclusivity with them. That means we give them money in advance and they pay us back with the blocks. So we have exclusivity, for example, in a quarry of Patagonia, that's a small production and we are the only one who has it. That's an example of exclusive quarry. So, and the first step after we buy the blocks is to wrap the block. So I want to show you the process right now, okay? So we do the wrapping, as you can see here on those pictures, with some mesh around the block to make it stable in order to cut. And then we cut it in our GANGSAW, which is this one here, a regular GANGSAW. So regular GANGSAW is usually is used for marbles or dolomites. They are softer. And then the multi-wire we use for granite and quartzite because they're so much stronger and faster on cutting. And if we cut marbles in the multi-wire, then we have problems because they run too fast. So they're too soft. And sometimes we have gouging problems when we do this. All right, so this is the step 2. And then after it's cut, as you can see here, it's a block of our own. We measure them, see if the thickness is good. So the inspection starts right after we cut our own blocks. And here's a multi-wire. And that's a GANGSAW, like I said. So here you're gonna see how many hours it would take to cut a block. So with regular GANGSAW, it takes 4 to 6 hours to cut a marble block. And if we cut in a regular GANGSAW granite, it's gonna be 1824, yeah. And the quartzite can take up to 10 days. But we don't do that. We just use the multi-wire with the granite, so it's 5 to 8 hours. And quartzite, 15 to 22 hours still. That's how strong the quartzite really is. And now with our factory here, that's picture from our own factory again. So we start the first step in our factory, which is acid treatment. So whichever white material that comes out of the ground here in Brazil, they usually come with rust. So we take the rust off by treating them with acid. Yeah, we need to do that because if you don't, it's going to be looking at a bad slab. And on top of that, those rusts usually goes, more and more into the stone with time. So we have to do this first step with the treatment. And that's takes up to 5 days, usually only, right here in the acid, it stays 5 days there until it's all gone, the rust. And then we have the next step, which is waiting for those slabs to completely dry. So after we treat them with acid, we're gonna wash them out with water, and we take usually 10 days more to wait for them to dry. We need to wait for them to dry, otherwise if we start resining them right now, you're gonna have water stuck underneath the resin. We don't wanna do that. That's why we take our proper time by waiting for them to dry. So this is the material after washed. And then there are some materials that we don't need treatment, so we don't do the acid treatment. So now it's the first step of the resin. It's not actually resin. Right now we just apply the mesh on the bags, but we apply with the resin. So we glue it together right there. See, we applying the mesh on this material, it's a magnet, we're using the resin. And now the first step on the polishing machine is honing. So after we apply the mesh on the back, we're gonna hone the material before the first resining process. That's because we want to open the pores on the material to receive the resin very into this stone. So hone is very important right now. And then after hone, we're gonna do the heating process. So we do have an oven that the slabs go into it. So it's gonna heat up so to receive the resin properly. So it's gonna go into the stone better when it's heated. So now is the first step of resining. So we rather apply manually, as you can see here, because we can apply in a way that all the slabs takes the same amount of resin, and if we have to fill a little hole in there, we put a little bit more here and there. So it's manually resin right here. So, and there are some materials that we need to do the process a few times. Let me show you here. So after resining the material, like I said, it's doing this way. Now you see this beautiful slab of magma resin. Now after resin, it goes to the polish machine, but it's not gonna go polish right now. We're gonna have to just hone it again. So we're gonna do resining and then we hone, and then go back to resin and then hone again. So depending on the material, like this magma, for example, it's gonna be 3 times just hone and resining, hone and resining. And after it's all the fills and fissures are filled, we're gonna do the last step, which is actually polishing or leathering. So now the polish machine, it's actually doing the final step, which is polishing or leathering. So we have this material being polished, and then the material is done. So now after the material is done, we take it to a different warehouse where we do all the inspection all over again. So we have a different crew to inspect each slab after they're done. So we do all the final touches too right here. What I mean by final touches, sometimes you're gonna see little holes still that the resin and the polish machine wasn't able to fill it properly. It happens even if we resin and polish 4 to 5 times. So my guys take a look at it and we do by hand the final touch. And if we notice that something needs to go back to the polish machine, we do it right here. We send it back and then we go back to final inspection. After the inspection is done, my own crew do that. I have people to just do an inspection. They usually call me up, so that's me right here. If I need to look at something, if I need to pay attention to a fissure or to something else, and then I do it myself. And then either me or some people from the sales department, we do videos and we do pictures to show you guys if there is any issue of any material at all. So it's all here. And then it's gonna go to the warehouse, the third warehouse for stocking, and then the picture is gonna go to the website. So you're gonna be able to see the real stuff that we have in stock in our website. And then after the customers choose how many bundles he wants, usually they're able to, actually our customers are able to buy single bundles from us and deliver on a truck in the US. I'm gonna talk about that on my next video, but just so you know, customers are able to go to the website and pick bundles there from either on our factory stock or from our stock in Houston. So I'm gonna tell you about that later. So after they're picked, the material is gonna be right here set up for loading the container, and then we're gonna load the container, and we usually send the container to our own place in Houston to where it gets unloaded. I'm gonna show you next. So this is how we load the container. We use those equipments, they're heavy iron bars to go into the closed top container. So we load containers like in 20 or 30 minutes at the most. We can load many containers a day. And then once the container gets to our place in Houston, we have our guys waiting for it, and we have our crew there waiting with a SARD machine imported from Italy. So we unload container using that machine. So that machine only does that, unloads container very quickly and safely, because it is a dangerous job unloading container. And then we stock the material in the Houston warehouse right there. And from there, we deliver on a truck. So we have trucks available going all over the country. So if you guys want to check it out, just go to brothersinGranite.com and you can see our inventory, both in Brazil and in the US. All right, guys, so thank you for watching, and I'm going to continue to talk a little bit later on. All right, so thank you for watching our presentation. Now I just want to share with you what's going on regarding the shipping problems between Brazil and the US, what we've been seeing here as the scenario. We all be together in this installment industry. We all suffering one way or another together on this. So the situation from Brazil to the US are still bad. You know, it hasn't got any better ever since after the pandemic. So the situation right now is that the shipping lines are increasing another $500 for the main ports from Brazil to the US. And the news is that the West Coast especially are all still very crowded. So there are all the containers that are going that way are waiting at least 30 days or more at the port to be able to get in and then to get out. So the transit time are over 90 days from Brazil there. So it's still very bad. And there is still lack of truckers and driver chassis all over the country. And along with that, the shipping lines itself, they don't want to mess with the door delivery moves for containers direct. Back in the days, they used to do all the moves. So they used to get the containers and they get them on the rail, and they once they got at the rail terminal, they put on the truck themselves and they deliver. Now they just want to do the port moves. So they want to just do Brazil to any port in the US. From there, they don't want to do anymore. So whoever is trying to get containers to door delivery are having to find a way out, either using a freight forwarder or using a truck company himself. So it is a very tricky scenario right now for shipping. And the news is that it should last for the end of the year at least. So now with this war that we are watching now, we think that the port, at least in Europe, is still going to be very jammed, very bad, and that reflects the entire world. So we're not sure what's going to happen this year, but we believe we have a pretty good solution for you guys. We have a warehouse in Houston. We opened the warehouse, it's been a year and a half, and the route from Brazil to Houston hasn't been affected as much as other ports. So we have a 30 days, a 35 days, I would say, transit time from Brazil to Houston. Right now, that's awesome. That's pretty good. And the freight, yeah, is expensive, but I think compared to the other ports, they're one of the cheapest from Brazil to the US right now. And we have our own truckers at the port in Houston every day, picking up containers, getting to our warehouse where we unload it and ship on a truck from there. So we haven't had any delays so far in all this year and a half. And we hadn't paid any extra fees because we do have trucks there. So the majority of our customers that used to import containers from us are going through Houston. Even, you know, customers from Idaho, from Montana, from Arizona, and other, you know, all far places are still going through Houston, and they're saying that it's a lot faster and actually cheaper to do that transload in our own place in Houston. So I want to share with you guys that we are doing this. So if you have any problems importing direct, just come to us, that we are doing this. And along with that, we have our own stock of materials in Houston. So before the freight went up so crazy, we were able to send a few containers of SLABS, and we do have material there. It's landed there in a cheaper price because of freight. And on top of that, I just want to share with you guys that we are not distributors there in Houston. We are still a factory in Brazil, and that's our core business. We don't want to be distributors. What it means by that is we don't make profits in Houston. So whatever the material that we have there, it's available to be selling all over the country with Brazil prices plus freight, and that's it. So you guys, whoever wants to buy from us, from the stock that it is in Houston now, are able to buy much cheaper usually compared to other distributors around, because like I said, we are a factory. We are still a source, and we want to do that for good. So, and on top of that, you don't need to be, you know, stuck with a full container anymore. If you are close enough to Texas, it still makes sense to buy 1, 2, 3 bundles from us and still be cost effective to get a truck with only 1 or 2, 3 bundles to your door. If you are far from Texas, you might want to do a full truck, because it's going to cost the same amount of getting the truck to your door for 1 bundle or to 6 bundles, which is the limit per truck. But I want you guys to just try it out. Go to brothersinGranite.com, and then you're gonna see there are 2 icons: Brazil's inventory and Houston inventory. Brazil is everything that we have here, and still you are able to get anything that we have in Brazil on a flatbed truck at your door. Or if you want to go to the other icon that says stock in Houston, you're gonna see what's there in Houston now. Okay, so that's what we are doing. Most of our customers are all using our Houston warehouse to avoid those risky problems with the shipping that we are facing. So if you want to check it out, it's there. And another thing that I want to share with you guys is that we are welcome customers to come to Brazil. So the COVID, it's pretty much gone. I would say the pandemic is gone. Nobody's wearing masks outside anymore in Brazil. Yeah, we have to wear inside, but most places, you know, outside, no problem at all. And we are inviting customers to come this year because it's going to be our 15th anniversary in September this year. So I want you guys to come. So you guys watching this video, I'm inviting you, and you're gonna receive an email from us with a formal invitation as well. If you're not in our system yet, please go to brothersinGranite.com and register there, because we're gonna start sending emails. So the concept for this trip is to be with us for the whole week. So you're gonna arrive in Brazil on a Sunday, and if you want, and then you can leave on a on a Friday. So we're gonna visit Brothers factories, yeah, of course, and we're gonna visit other factories in Brazil too. So we think we are an open world and an open business, open market, and we wanna take you guys to other factories too, a friend of ours, so you guys get an opportunity to meet other people and to buy from other people too. We don't care, actually. And we're gonna take you guys to quarries as well, and we're gonna have our party anniversary on the Thursday here at Brothers. So, and we're gonna take care of all the costs. Yeah, the only thing you're gonna pay yourself is gonna be the ticket, air ticket. But in case you buy from us, we're gonna discount the amount in our invoice. So it's gonna be a free trip. So if you guys wanna check it out, just go to Brothers in Granite, do a registration. Otherwise, you're gonna receive an email from us. All right, guys, thank you so much for letting us talking to you today. Thank you for your time. I hope you're having a great time there at the workshop. See you.